Today is October 27, 2025. We look back at a day that ended in tragedy. The sky was clear, a vast expanse of blue. Flight 612 pushed back from the gate right on schedule, its powerful engines spooling up with a familiar roar. Passengers settled into their seats, the cabin filled with the quiet hum of anticipation, the gentle click of overhead bins closing. The aircraft climbed gracefully, a silver arrow ascending toward its cruising altitude. For most of the journey, everything was routine. Painted bright orange to help search crews find them among wreckage. One is the cockpit voice recorder, which captures every sound made in the flight deck. The other is the flight data recorder, which logs thousands of parameters about the plane's performance. These devices are built to withstand incredible force, intense fire, and the crushing pressure of the deep sea. They are designed for one purpose: to survive when nothing else does. They exist to tell the story when there is no one left to tell it. On Flight 612, the black box performed its duty flawlessly. It recorded the mundane sounds of a flight in progress, creating a baseline of calm before the storm. The recording started with the usual pre-flight checks, the methodical call and response between the pilot and the co-pilot. They discussed the weather conditions, their voices relaxed and professional. A flight attendant confirming that the cabin was secure for takeoff. For the first hour, the recording was unremarkable, a testament to the safety and predictability of modern air travel. The warning light was a small amber glow on a vast panel of instruments. It was the first sign that something was wrong. A single warning light is not necessarily cause for panic. Pilots train extensively for such events. They have checklists and procedures for hundreds of potential malfunctions. Flight data still showed the aircraft flying perfectly, the engines were stable, the altitude was constant, the autopilot was engaged, but the voice recorder began to tell a more complex story. A faint noise grew louder, evolving into a low-frequency vibration. The pilot's breathing became more measured and deliberate, a rustle of paper as they pull out a quick reference handbook.
Engine 1 oil pressure is fluctuating.
Were the sensors faulty or the engine in trouble? Flight data showed a tiny, erratic dip in left engine performance. The machine and the human sensed the same problem. Outside the cockpit door, life continued as normal. The serene cabin versus the focused cockpit. Two worlds divided by a thin, reinforced door. Two pilots grappled with a problem that threatened the delicate physics of flight, their voices a quiet counterpoint to the growing hum of the anomaly. At precisely 1 hour and 7 minutes into the flight, the situation escalated dramatically. A loud, sharp alarm began to blare in the cockpit, a piercing, repetitive chime meant to be impossible to ignore. This was not a simple caution light, this was a master warning. The vibration intensified into a violent shudder. The autopilot, unable to compensate for asymmetric thrust, disconnected with a loud klaxon. Control of the aircraft was now entirely in the pilot's hands.
Your aircraft.
The plane began to yaw left, pulled by the failing engine. The rudder pedals thud. The control column moves as he fights to keep the wings level and the nose forward. The aircraft's smooth aerodynamic profile was being disrupted.
Engine 1 shutdown checklist.
Throttle. Cut. The recording captures the lever pullback followed by a slight decrease in shaking. The alarm continued to scream, a relentless soundtrack, as passengers felt the lurch, the change in engine noise, and a wave of anxious whispers rose. A flight attendant's voice, calm but firm, instructed everyone to be seated and fasten seatbelts. At the 1 hour and 10-minute mark, the black box recorded a new, terrifying development. Despite their efforts, a second catastrophic failure occurred. A loud bang echoed through the airframe. A rapid loss of altitude followed, visible as a steep, downward trend. Structural damage from an uncontained engine failure critically impaired the plane's ability to fly. Mayday! 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 Flight 612, we have a major structural failure and are in an uncontrolled descent. The controller's calm reply gives a heading to the nearest airport, but it was over 100 miles away. The pilots pulled with all their strength. Data shows the elevators deflected fully upward. Pull up! Pull up! The stick shaker joins the chaos with violent vibration. His voice trails, each number a falling marker toward the ground. Every ounce of skill and strength is spent to claw back control. The black box recorded not just a failing machine, but determined, desperate humans, trying to save everyone on board. The bravery was, undeniable. This was a moment of pure human struggle against a failing machine. 2 minutes into the descent, the situation continued to worsen. A chain reaction stripped the pilots of tools and options.
We're losing the displays. I have no attitude indicator.
They were now relying on feel and the few remaining analog instruments. The cacophony became a meaningless wall of sound.
Cabin crew, brace for impact. Brace, brace, brace.
The aircraft entered a phugoid cycle. Small climbs and dives, each brief victory followed by a setback. They were not giving up, flying the aircraft to the very end. Even as their aircraft came apart, their resolve held. As Flight 612 passed through 5,000 feet, the radio became a lifeline. "We are uncontrollable," the captain managed to transmit. "Flight 612, you are 7 miles from the coast. The terrain below is flat. Emergency services are mobilized." Between alarms and control inputs, the recorder captured their humanity. "Is there anything else we can try?" "Just keep flying it. Just keep flying." The co-pilot tried to revive a dead display, a small act of defiance. Professionalism did not waver. They remained a team to the end. The recorder picked up prayers and quiet farewells. An airplane is more than a machine. It holds hopes and relationships. The black box preserved intimate moments, bearing witness to courage and grace. In the last 2 minutes of the flight, the pilots made one final, heroic attempt to save the aircraft. The aircraft briefly stabilized. The rate of descent slowed dramatically. They traded remaining airspeed for lift, working in perfect sync. For a few seconds, it felt like a miracle.
We're aiming for that field.
It was a desperate gamble. Better than an uncontrolled impact. The remaining airspeed bled away. The stall warning returned with a vengeance. The left wing, no longer generating lift, dropped sharply. The aircraft entered its final fatal roll.
We're not gonna make it.
There was nothing left to say. Their final act was an attempt to give their passengers the slimmest chance. The final seconds of the cockpit voice recorder are the most harrowing. After the co-pilot's last statement, the sound of rushing air sharply increases as the aircraft rolls and plunges. The last distinct human sound is a single sharp intake of breath from the captain. It is the sound of a body bracing for an impact it cannot avoid. Then, at 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 32 seconds after takeoff, the recording ends. It does not fade out. It stops abruptly. The end is marked by a percussive impact, a split second of tearing, then screeching, then silence. The flight data recorder stops at the exact same instant, showing an impossibly high descent rate and a bank angle over 90 degrees. The silent witness had completed its task. Days later it was found, scarred and dented, but intact. Investigators transported it to a secure lab and extracted the delicate recording media. They listened solemnly, cross-referencing audio with data, and building a precise timeline. Each click, each word, each alarm, pieces of a complex puzzle. The recording turns chaos into cause and effect, showing what happened, and why. The black box of Flight 612 taught us many things. It turned a tragedy into a powerful lesson. Data guided investigators to a microscopic fatigue crack in a single turbine blade within the left engine. This tiny, undetectable flaw led to an uncontained failure. A worldwide directive mandated advanced inspections for thousands of engines, changes that have prevented similar accidents. The tape reshaped training. Cascading, unpredictable, multi-layered emergencies now standard. Pilots are trained to think when procedures fail and to manage cognitive load under extreme stress. The final maneuvers became a case study in airmanship, fighting for every last second. The black box recorded courage, the captain's calm command to brace, and the crew's care for passengers. It reminds us that even when technology fails, the human spirit of duty, teamwork, and compassion endures. Families could hear through the pain that their loved ones were not alone, cared for to the very end. In the aftermath, we search for meaning. The black box provides a path forward. The last sounds became a promise. We will learn, we will improve, we will remember. The silence that follows is reverence and a commitment to safer skies.